Illustrations by Pete.
Hey everyone, the first thing that I want to say is thank you so much for watching and subscribing and supporting the channel. It's growing at a steady rate right now. I couldn't be happier. Thank you. Now this is going to be a two-part series. The first video I'm going to do today is going to be watercolor and gouache. And then I'm going to try, please do not hold my feet to the fire on this, but I'm going to try and do a second video that I release on Thursday or Wednesday or Friday. But anyway, I will try and get a second video out this week that shows the acrylic form of this video. We're going to be doing some abstract painting, and it's a different technique maybe than something that you've ever seen. It's something that Bob Ross does, which I absolutely love, and I wanted to incorporate it into what I'm doing and show you how to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is take out my favorite sketchbook, and I'm going to coat it in a black watercolor ground. I use the Daniel Smith version. You can use whatever version you want, however you want to do that. But you want to make sure that the page is completely covered in black first. Now I've taped off the edges. You do not need to do that. After you've gone ahead and coated the black watercolor ground on the page, you want to pick a transparent watercolor. For this video, the two colors that I've chosen are Perylene Violet and Perylene Green. And I coat one side with the Perylene Violet and the other side with Perylene Green. Now you want to put a very thick coating down. A lot of watercolor down on this. You will not see it, but you want to take that and lay it on as thick as you can. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I did this with the Etcher Hot Press sketchbook. Again, I'm just going to use a couple of cheap brushes. I'm going to be stabbing at this page, so I don't want to use anything that's expensive. I want to be able to use a brush that I really don't care about. Okay, now I want to go over the colors again. So I'm using, first I'm going to use this Daniel Smith black watercolor ground. Then I'm going to use the Perylene Violet on the left side and the Perylene Green on the right side, both very transparent watercolors. You can see a little bit of shine that's on that left side. That's because that Perylene Violet does give a little shine. I'm not sure why, but it does. The other Perylene Green does not. Okay, so now I'm going to use some gouache on top of this, and what it's going to do is draw out the color from underneath. You have to use very light colors. I'm going to mix some of that white into that light blue and just start from a spot. I usually go from the bottom left to the top right when I paint. That's just something I do naturally. But as you get to the edges, you'll see some of that color start to come through. Some of that Perylene Violet start to come through. And I'm going to scrub and mix at this, and you'll see it come through more and more. But first you just have to decide where do you want the brightest color and where do you want some of that underlying color to really come through. I'm also going to use a red gouache in here. You'll see it blend in with some of the background Perylene Violet, and it makes this really pretty dark color. Now keep in mind when you're doing this, this doesn't have to be a finished piece. This can be a background for something else. You see as I scrub in that top left corner how that purple starts to come through on some of the lighter color. That's really what you want. That's the whole purpose of doing it like this. Unfortunately, I don't think the camera's picking it up as much as it's actually showing on the paper. When I take the picture later and I show you after it's been put through the scanner, you see that purple color the way that I actually see it here live. Okay, since I'm using gouache here, I just wanted to point out that sometimes artists remind me a little like children, and I'm saying this as an artist who sometimes sounds like a little child. I was watching several videos on gouache and people were losing their minds over the gouache cracking in their palettes. One said that they're giving up on gouache. They're never using it again because it's cracks in the palette. It doesn't change anything if it cracks in the palette. It actually is gouache. So the properties are that it gets dry and chalky and kind of cracks. That's what it does. But as soon as you add water, it turns back into the same paint you had. Okay, so this is the end of this section, and you see that purple up in the left really coming through really strong, and it does. It looks really pretty. You can use this for a background. You can use this as a finished painting, however you want to do it. It all depends on what you want, and you see how that dark background kind of comes through and makes it seem super misty, and I just really like that. So this next section, I am just taking pure white gouache and I'm going over this. And you see towards the end where the paint starts to run out, that's where that little hint of green comes in and it pulls it out. Now if I scrub at that a little bit just with some more water, you'll see that start to come through a little bit more, but I don't do that. I just wanted that little hint of green just towards the edges like that. And as you layer these on top of each other, it starts to make it look 3D. You'll see again in the final picture that it makes it look really nice. And a part of this is using the water brush, because as you go down with the paint and you kind of spread it further and further, more and more water gets introduced and kind of thins it out a little bit and makes that green pop a little bit, makes it come out a little bit more. Now, like I said, just like with the other one, I could have scrubbed a lot more and gotten more of that green to come out. I used a perylene green, which is really a pigment black, on purpose, so I didn't really have that pop, but you can do the same thing like I did with the other side and really make it pop a little bit more. I don't know, that end picture kind of looks like Casper, the friendly ghost, and then the other ghost coming out behind him on the left side. Anyway, it's not important. So here are the two side by side. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it taught you something, and I hope you use these techniques. If you do and post them anywhere, please tag me. I'd love to see what you do with this information. Again, a very big thank you to everyone who watches my videos and supports this channel. I cannot do this without you. Thank you very much. Here's a couple more videos that you might enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.